Today, let us revise Baptada's Murli of 9th May 1983. The title of the Murli is The Decoration of Brahmin Life is Cleanliness, Purity in Awareness, Attitude, and Vision. The decoration of Brahmin life is cleanliness, that is purity in awareness, attitude, and vision. Today, Baptada is seeing the line of elevated karma of all Brahmin children, and together with this line of karma, how the line of fortune of the present and the future is being drawn. Baba was seeing the line of karma, the history of karma, and the account of karma of all the Brahmins. In fact, all of you children have a right to the direct inheritance of the Father, the bestower of fortune, the knower of the deep philosophy of karma. Together with this, Bap Dada, the fortune maker, has given all of you children a golden chance. Because you are the children of the fortune maker, each one of you has a full right to create as much fortune as you want and to become an embodiment of all attainments. It is not number wise in terms of giving the right. You have freedom. That is, there is total freedom. And together with that, according to the drama, you also have the cooperation of this time that enables you to receive blessings. Each one of you has that equally. Nevertheless, whilst having such a golden chance, you bring the unlimited attainment into limitations, number wise. The Father is unlimited, the inheritance is unlimited, the rights are unlimited. But those who are receiving become number wise. Why is this? In essence, there are two reasons for this. First, there isn't cleanliness in the intellect. It is not clear. Second, you are not cautious in every action. That is, you are not careful. Cleanliness, there is less cleanliness, and then not being careful. We become number wise because of these two reasons. Mhm. The main thing is cleanliness. This is called purity or victory over the first vice. Since you have adopted Brahmin life, then whether you call it the main basis, newness, spirituality, or the decoration of life, it is purity. The challenge in Brahmin life is to become a conqueror of lust. This is the sign of demonstrating, making the impossible possible, of elevated knowledge and the elevated bestower of knowledge. Just as the sign of worldly Brahmins is their top knot and their sacred thread, so the sign of true Brahmins is purity and their code of conduct. The sign of your birth and your life has to be kept for all time. The first main point of support of purity is the purity in your awareness. Not just I am a soul, but I am a pure soul. Everyone says the word soul, but it is the Brahmin souls who always say, I am a pure soul. I am an elevated soul. I am a worthy of worship soul. I am a special soul. The image of support is this purity in your awareness. So, have you made the first support strong? Do you constantly have this first occupation in your awareness? Actions are automatically performed according to your occupation. First, the cleanliness of awareness is required. After that, attitude and vision. When you have purity in your awareness, I am a worthy of worship soul. What is the special praise of a soul who is worthy of worship? Completely viceless, full of all virtues, 16 celestial degrees full. This is the qualification of a worthy of worship soul. With what vision would such a soul naturally look at the self and others? Whether they are of the spiritual family or the worldly family, or souls who maintain a worldly awareness, always have the vision for everyone that these souls are supremely worthy of worship, or that they have to be made worthy of worship. If there is any impure vision towards worthy of worship souls, that is, souls of the spiritual family, it means the foundation of awareness is weak. And this is a great, great, great sin. When there is any vision of impurity or body consciousness towards a worthy of worship soul, that this server is very good, or that this teacher is very good. What is the goodness in them? The goodness is of the elevated awareness and elevated vision. If they don't have this elevated vision and awareness, then what is the goodness? This is also a form of the golden, attractive form of Maya. It is not service, it is not cooperation, but it is the basis of separating yourself from everyone else. Repeatedly pay attention to this aspect. Repeatedly pay attention to this aspect. Whether they are teachers who have been made instruments by the Father, or brothers and sisters who are cooperative souls in service. The main qualification of server souls in service is renunciation and tapasya. On the basis of this qualification, constantly look at everyone with a vision of them being renunciates and tapasvis, not with body conscious vision. This is an elevated family. Therefore, constantly have elevated vision. Because this great sin can never enable you to experience being an embodiment of attainment. Because of the defects or effects in one or another action, thought, relationship, or connection, there will constantly be fluctuation, and you will never be able to experience the perfect stage. Therefore, instead of being a charitable soul, constantly check that you have not become a sinful soul. From this one vice, all others' vices are automatically born. If desires are not yet fulfilled, then anger, the companion, comes first. Therefore, don't consider this subject to be an insignificant thing. Don't be careless about this. Externally, you may think that it is a pure relationship, that it is a relationship of service, but don't increase this royal form of sin. No matter who is to be blamed for this sin, don't allow yourself to become careless by blaming others. Until you keep the caution, I am to be blamed, you will not be able to become liberated from this great sin. To be specially subservient in any way through your thoughts, words, or relationships and connections is also a sign of attachment. We are not doing anything, we are just talking. This subservience in talking is also a percentage of attachment. Even if there is special subservience in terms of cooperation in service, that too is attachment. And when you receive a signal, you should end all signals with a signal. If you become stubborn and try to justify yourself by giving an explanation, then understand that you are trying to clarify your sins. You're not clarifying the situation, but extending the line of sin even more. Therefore, since you are engaged in the task of world transformation, then to transform the self is an act of being sensible. If it is nothing, then just leave it at that. That is, bring about transformation in the self and finish all name and trace of everything. Why is this like this? Why is this like that? This happens all the time. This is like pouring oil in onto the fire of the atmosphere. This is making the fire flare up even more. It is increasing the situation. Therefore, you should put a full stop. Don't debate whether it exists or not, but bring about transformation in your thoughts, words, and connections. This is the way to save yourself from this sin. Do you understand? There should be no name or trace of this sanskar in the Brahmin family. Acha, Baba will tell you later what the great evil spirit of anger is. These are the main things to pay attention to. All of you who have come specially to fill yourselves with power. You have come to finish off for all time any weak sanskars. So, before you go, have a completion ceremony of weak sanskars. You will celebrate the ceremony, will you not? This is especially a group of older ones. When you celebrate your ceremony, the new ones will become enthusiastic. It isn't that you will have to celebrate this ceremony every year. You celebrate this ceremony once, and then there is the completion ceremony. You will celebrate the completion ceremony for all time, will you not? Mothers and half Kumars are included in this. It isn't just the Pandavas who will celebrate it. Kumaris and also teachers will celebrate it. Even half Kumaris will celebrate it. Everyone will celebrate this ceremony together. Is this okay? You Kumaris are Shaktis, are you not? So will you celebrate the ceremony of being the Shaktis? Will you not? Acha. Acha. To those who constantly have good wishes for the self, to those who are constantly first in the task of self transformation and thereby claim number one in this lesson, to those who are an embodiment of unlimited awareness towards everyone in their thoughts, words, and connections, to those who constantly maintain cleanliness and caution, to such pure and worthy of worship souls, Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Let us take a moment to absorb Baba's elevated versions. We go within and see ourselves as Baba sees us, a pure soul, a powerful soul, a worthy of worship soul. I am a soul who is made worthy of worship by the dharana of purity. I'm completely clean from inside out. I'm completely clear. And at every step, I follow Baba's Srimat with caution and care. I, the soul, am unlimited. Baba is unlimited. I stay in this awareness of being unlimited. I have renounced all limited attachments, limited attractions to the physical dimension. And I experience coming very close to Baba, having renounced the limited physical world. I become a true tapasvi. I'm a renunciate and a tapasvi, just being with the one constantly. I allow Baba's light, Baba's love to make me completely clean, completely pure. And I see all the souls with the same elevated vision. My awareness, my attitude, my vision are completely pure. All the old sanskars have been finished, have been transformed, and the eternal sanskars of soul consciousness have become my natural nature. I see what Baba sees. I feel what Baba feels. I hold pure awareness, attitude, and vision towards every soul constantly and naturally. Om, Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba, and thank you, family. Let's pause here, see if there are any thoughts, and we'll resume the next part of the Murli on March 24th. Om Shanti.
Okay. Sorry. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Bye.
When you started reading the Murli, my thoughts just went to that Dadi Janki's memorial in Shantivan. And just the day before we celebrated her anniversary, I remember that cleanliness, honesty, and simplicity. Like there are always, like for Dadi Gulzar, it is dedication, divinity, dignity, detachment. For Nimit Nirmal Nirman, for Dadi Prakashman. But for Dadi Janki, it was cleanliness. So the question of, and from, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was from her, this word, Sachai or Safai came. So I used to think, what is the adjective she gave the Buddhi? Why for the Buddhi it was cleanliness? Why the word true intellect wasn't given? Why the word was given cleanliness, that is clean intellect? What is that? How does that adjective suit the intellect? Of course, the second aspect, be careful is something, but the clean intellect is what really attracted me. Now, whenever we use the word clean, I just go to all those ads when they say, oh, you want cleanliness, use this. And then they show, either they show fragrance or they show some vibrations or they show some kind of agent coming and clearing off the dirty monster. This is how we have seen. But over here, Baba says, this intellect, this is one of the gifts which I have given you, divine intellect. Divya Buddhi is now which we get, or probably we have got it, we never realized and recognized it, but now we have got it. This is now to be made clean. It is not clean because you have clouded it with vices. You have clouded it all. So Baba, as usual, I was waiting to just see how does each vice affect the intellect. Baba is going to speak about it later, especially how does anger, how does lust a bit, yes, that. So it's so important to have a clean intellect because its intellect main thing is decision making part. So if a judge who sits there is clouded by the arguments of both, he cannot arrive at a perfect decision. So to arrive at a decision, he must be away from the cloud of both the arguments. So similarly, whenever we have to have any kind of decision, which is what is the basic thing of a Brahmin life, is clean intellect. So your cleanliness, more than saying cleaning, it should be like a virtue. So recognizing the original qualities, the inherent qualities of one quality Baba has touched is purity. There are other qualities also we know inherent of a soul, but Baba has touched of purity. So it's so important really to clean as I said, the power of discernment and the reflecting on ourselves or meditation or anything becomes clear only when your intellect is absolutely clean. If there is any weakness, then of course there will be a wrong decision. Like, see, even criminals have intellect. All of us have intellect, but the criminals, it helps them to plan and commit crimes. But for us, Baba saying to live a happy life and to know your pulse, you need a clean intellect. So I just like one word which you summarized at the end, conscious cleansing. I think that's what we should do. Just I love that picture which is there, you sit over there, a big stream of light just comes up from Paramdam straight there. It comes to your head and then it goes to your intellect and some cleaning takes place. Maybe it's visual, but I like it. I think this conscious cleansing of the intellect is what I'm going to take away today and try to see what else is my intellect clouded with. Om Shanti.
Shanti, thank you. Keshav, for sharing. Very nice.
Shanti, brother. Here, Baba says how to have a pure vision. The swaman that Baba gives here is that you are a pure soul, you are an elevated soul, you have a worthy of worship soul. So, with the awareness, the vision changes, and the vision changes, the attitude changes, and the actions later. So, subsequently, the purity entity would eventually creep up. So, ultimately, the lust is conquered. So the pure awareness or these swaman or these affirmations would eventually change the vision of a person as what I see through the Murli. And that is the way to conquer and become pure. Yes, thank you. Om Shanti.
Adding
Om
on
Shanti,
to what
thank you.
Vinod just mentioned, Baba very clearly has mentioned in the Murli today how to be free of lust, and he mentions that, and that's the point to take back home. Whether the soul is from the Brahmin clan or the soul is from the world outside, have the attitude and vision of the other person as a soul, have that cleanliness and purity in the heart when we look at anybody, whether the person is on the path of knowledge or is not on the path of knowledge, but considering every child here on the earth is Baba's child, and that's been moving from a limited world to an unlimited world. That's the point for me to take back home. Option.
Om Shanti, thank you.
Om Shanti. So, cleanliness in awareness. I think having this, awareness all the time is something that I guess the whole the Brahmins, some of the Brahmins are really finding a challenge to keep that constant awareness. So, and Baba clearly mentioned that the challenge in Brahmin life is to become conquerors of the West. So, we know that it is because of the body and the bodily relations and things that we handled so far, and the 63 births and scar, that which is actually pulling us back. So, in order to have the pure vision or elevated vision or to keep this awareness all the time. So I think one must practice the self-consciousness at a very deeper level. So once we have that vision very clear, then our attitude and the vision and Once we have that awareness very clear constantly, and we are able to maintain that throughout, then it becomes easy because our attitude will also be changed, and therefore the vision will also be changed. We'll have a pure vision. So, having that awareness, maintaining that awareness consistently throughout, I guess that is the whole challenge. And I guess it comes only with practice, the more we practice. That has to become natural. We know that in Parendam, we don't have any sign of lust there, because everybody in that pure awareness. And when we come down to Satya Goswami, there is no the sign of that awareness, because the soul is pure there, and complete soul conscious awareness there. So the journey, from God to converts, the journey, body consciousness is actually, you know, um, caused that problem from soul to body. So now again we have to walk back or work upon the self, because we unknowingly learned something. So now we have to, and we can't unlearn that we have done, that we've learned. So the practice that one must do is to learn the soul consciousness, practice it, live with it, continue the practice and make it our natural nature. And this is the way that only we can become a pure, pure soul, wherein no sign of lust. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Saurabhai, I just want a little analysis from you. See, if you see the whole Murli, Baba is checking the line of the karma, checking my history of karma, checking the account of karma. So I see, how does Baba approach me in this Murli? He's checking my actions. And as somebody just shared, purity is in awareness. Now, if we remember the cycle of thoughts, they say thought first arises in the mind. So the first thing, the first person among this mind, buddhi, and samskar is the mind, intellect, and samskar is the mind. So he is the mind is the first recipient of all this, which creates a smriti in me, which gives me the mind, maybe through a good vision or through a good this. Smriti is created over there. So the intellect comes later. The intellect just tries to, hey, mind, that is not correct. Okay, this is correct. He's like a balancer to the mind. He thought doesn't never arises as far as the cycle of thoughts goes in the intellect. It arises in the mind. So I was thinking it's the duty of a mind really to have that kind of awareness, because smriti is first in the mind. So can you then just analyze and tell me how has Baba put this responsibility of awareness on the intellect? Because intellect, if you see, it's just the policing the mind. So it's the mind which I have to first take care before even the intellect. So can you just clarify this correlation which Baba has mentioned about clarity in awareness, in cleanliness, awareness in the intellect before the mind, please?
Mhm. Yeah, sure. Right. Interesting point. Baba often talks about, it's like the more the intellect stays in the unlimited, then it influences, everything else. And if we understand, the dynamics of consciousness, it's like, mind, then intellect, and then sanskars. And then sanskars, they again influence the mind. And so any thought of limited world that comes, against, it's like, with respect to the desires, it's actually coming because of the body conscious sanskars. So the game really is to be able to replace those body conscious sanskars by creating soul conscious sanskars. And that's why in our actions, in our, vision, the more we uphold, the soul to soul vision, that allows for the new sanskars to form. But then, in order to do that, that's where the intellect comes in. The more intellect stays awake, the more intellect stays beyond, right? It's the more intellect holds Baba's gyan, the more intellect, experiences Baba's presence, the more then, the sanskars we are able to create of soul consciousness, which will then influence the mind. So it's like, creating a stage, but then the game starts with the intellect. Otherwise, it's difficult to control the mind. And that's why, we say Raj Yoga is Buddhi Yoga, because all other forms of yogas are just focus on the mind, okay, relax the mind, just go out somewhere, focus, something like that. So just temporarily, just working on the mind. But then Raj Yoga is, again, awakening the intellect to the truth of who we are, where we have come from, who belongs to us. And from that, the sanskars change, and then the mind is actually cleansed. Otherwise, it's not possible to really cleanse the mind. Mm.
So you say the dynamic is the intellect.
Yeah, it kind of starts, with the intellect. Yeah.
No, you're right, because it's like the vessel. It's a vessel.
Mm.
It gets filled in. Nothing, but sometimes Baba also says intellect is a filter. And
Mm.
it only keeps essence in it. That's why
Mm.
I think one should really
Mm.
study now. I want to go back to my dynamics of
Mhm.
consciousness and really study what is that intellect. Is it a vessel, or is it a filter, or is it the one who just does the mind? Now, today Baba has really touched so much on the
Mm.
intellect. So I was telling the mind, never mind, don't
Mhm.
mind, you're not important today. Oh,
Mhm.
so it's nice.
Mm.
But that one word which you said, Buddhi Yoga, that made where Raj Yoga is Buddhi Yoga. But other yogas, you're right, absolutely. It's just like controlling the mind, knowing the mind. They never touch on the intellect, because the divyata, the divinity, which we are talking about, absolute truth, divinity, is what this time is. I think it's nice to really listen to more about the intellect. Om Shanti.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you, Baba. Om Shanti.
Just adding on, the awareness, right? So, um, the more we are able to stabilize in this, right? And then I think that is what Baba also want. So that is why Baba says man manabo. So always the more we practice to stabilize in this, right, then our stage will become more stable. So nowadays, now if you look at it, I think there is a fluctuation, right? Sometimes we are trying to see things with our physical eyes. So the physical eyes, seeing things has to stop, and it has to be seen with the eye of intellect. So eye of intellect, when you see through the eye of intellect, and we are, in that awareness. But consistency become, and consistency is the problem, I guess. So the more we are able to stabilize that, then the better it is. So that is why towards the end it says Andimati Sograti. So Andimati means Mati is buddhi again, intellect. And Mati is awareness. What is there in your intellect? What is there in your awareness at the time of your last moment? So accordingly, you will get a stage, right? Accordingly is your um, Gati, right? So we can't just have an elevated awareness at the end, right? It has to be practiced. That consistency will not come all of a sudden, right? So I think the practice only will take us there. Sarupa, you can throw more light on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, sure. Very, yeah, very
So, Rupai,
nice.
coming
Yeah.
to the second part, that carefulness. Just see what Baba is saying. Forget being a punyatma. See that you don't become a papatma. Because defect or effect
Mm.
will not make you perfect. See that one line where he said, forget being a punyatma. Don't think about, just see, am I a papatma? You know, it's like taking for me a negative approach instead of saying I am a pure soul. Am I a sinful soul? You know, it's like making me answer, checking that question. That was one thing, if you can just throw some light. Secondly, we always say, remember, if you point three fingers at someone, one finger points back at you. So that also caution Baba is saying, always say, I am to be blamed. I am to be blamed. Don't justify your sins. If you're justifying your what you are not sins, don't justify anything. It means you're extending the line of your sin anymore. So these two aspects in being cautious, if you can throw some more light. The first one was that charitable soul. So making I should get up and say, I am not a sinful soul. I don't have anger in me. I don't have lust in me. Like a sort of, I'm just taking literally what Baba said. One. Secondly, about that, I am to be blamed. If suppose you can just throw some this light for the second reason. Om Shanti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice points you've captured. So, yeah, then Baba talked about caution quite a bit in the second half of the Murli. And really, like in spiritual life, it's a lot about caution. And it's Baba's responsibility to caution us, like especially the children where they can fall and so that's why Baba is saying just this to have this guard, just like and it's true with any every aspect of our life. Just like when we are driving, we're going on a vacation, of course, we are enjoying, but then we're also cautious about, many things like do we have all the documents? Do we follow the laws of the land? It's like, in terms of living life also, do we, have our doors locked or things like that? So caution is very important. And so Baba says that's the gates where the Maya could enter, and that's where just to it's not like always thinking about it, but just to make sure I feel that the principles are there, so that we are not getting deceived, or we are not deceiving ourselves. And so I felt that's where just being careful is important, because sometimes by so there are three words, right? Carefree, careless, and careful. So sometimes, whilst being carefree, we can become careless, right? So it's always a balance between being carefree and also being careful, right? So it's both is important. For example, like a traveler is carefree, he's enjoying, he's vacationing, but he's also careful that he doesn't lose his passport, he doesn't lose his wallet. Like a student is carefree because he's learning, but is also careful because he wants to follow the discipline. He doesn't want to, miss a class, things like that. So that's where I believe the caution energies, Baba is saying coming from. And then, this whole aspect of blaming, it's like sometimes if someone, corrects us or says something, we might go into justification that no, I was right. And that's where I felt Baba said that we shouldn't, blame others that, but just, introspect. And, I think Mama always used to say that always accept any teaching, with the intention that it is for us to improve and grow. And so that's where I think sometimes in a gathering, it could happen when the seniors are correcting, us, then we may feel that, somewhere it is not right and we can go into justification. But that's actually creating a karmic account there, because, it is this energy of justification is actually an energy based in ego. And that's where the Abhiman is actually increasing rather than, being soul conscious. And so, yeah, that's where I felt probably Baba was mentioning.
Brother, I like the second part which you explained. Immediately you made me recollect, this Avyakt Ishada which is going on nowadays about truth, and it really gives on this one line which Baba said, extending the line of sin. Truth can never be proved. I think that it made me reflect on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Before we move on to meditation, one quick announcement about this Sunday class. So this Sunday, Dr. Chetan Pai will be conducting a Murli Mandal session. The Murli dated 30/05/1983. The basis of becoming supremely worthy of worship. The basis of becoming supremely worthy of worship. So that was one of the Murli that we had read past a few days back. So I request everyone to join the session and take complete benefit of it. Over to you, Sarubai, for meditation.
Mhm. Just take a moment to leave this limited world, this visible world, allowing it to just fade away completely. And just I, the being, the soul, with Baba, everything else is meaningless. I, the soul, come into the unlimited. Here it's natural for me to be absorbed in Baba's love, to stay awake, to stay above, to stay beyond, being with Baba makes me completely clean. I can see everyone beyond any labels and other limited identities, just as a pure soul, a worthy of worship soul. having come into the light. Even as I descend onto the world stage to play my part, I maintain this awareness, this attitude and vision of seeing everyone and the self in the light of truth. Om.
Om Shanti. Thank you to Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. Thank you, Saurabai. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Until then, have a beautiful day.